I'm not a salesperson. I help people with their problems, and the websites are just how I happen to do it. And so with coming along these different folks, it's not just I'm trying to sell you on a website, get you in really fast, and then, you're just a number to me. It's more of, I know who you are. I know who your spouse is. I know who your kids are. Not like in a creeper way, but more just more than I actually care. And, I've always been in the people business. I love people, and I've always done what I have done because of people, mainly because of how people have honestly impacted my life. I've always wanted to impact those people as well. And so when I do people first, that has always been the game. And so the people first business approach, for me at least, has brought in better leads, better referrals. And then from going into there, it's just having the guts to put a price tag on.
Welcome to the Web Design Business Podcast with your host, Josh Hall, helping you build a web design business that gives you freedom and a lifestyle you love.
Welcome in, my friends. We're diving deep into this one today about recurring revenue, the two most lovely words in web design, or really any business for that matter. But honestly, if you do not yet have an emphasis in your business on building recurring income, listen up, because I think this episode is going to help you a lot. Recurring income is literally what changed the game for me. It is what grew my business in a sustainable way. And by recurring income, what I did was have a hosting, maintenance, and support plan for clients. It is what gave me the stability to be able to charge higher rates and to experiment with my other offers, because it was my baseline revenue. It is what got my family through a 56-day NICU journey years ago when my first daughter was born. It covered our living expenses. And it's what led to my first course, which is actually my maintenance plan course, which is still kicking today and helping so many people build recurring income. One of my students is Marc Hyde, who went through this course back in 2021. And today in 2024, he is on track for well over six figures this year in 24 for his business. And over 30% of his business revenue is through his maintenance and hosting plan. And in this interview, I'm so excited because we're going to dive into exactly how he did it. We're going to dive into how he went from actually being a pastor and being into ministry to getting into web design, building his business, putting an emphasis on recurring revenue, and how his emphasis on people first and relationships first with clients has actually helped retain his clients so he can just focus on serving them over and over and over again and not be in the ebbs and flows and feast and famine of web design. So all those reasons more, I'm so excited to share with you this conversation. We also have a bit of a coaching segment here about how to offer growth plans along with maintenance plan services and support services, which are very different. You're going to want to separate support services versus growth and marketing services. So we're going to get into all that and more. Make sure to go check out Marc to see what he's up to at his website, marchyde.com. Everything we talk about here, especially in the coaching portion of this chat, will also be seen at his website as it continues to evolve. So just a quick personal note about Marc before we dive in. I have to publicly say I'm so proud of what he's done with his business. He is an absolute web designer pro. He's one of our most engaged members of my community, Web Designer Pro, and I think you're going to see why here. So good on Marc, and I hope you take some serious takeaways here and apply it to your business to build your recurring income. Well, first off, Marc, welcome back from, I was going to call it a vacation, but we all know with kids, you have 8 kids, it's a trip. So welcome back. You're right back from it. Is the first week at work after, 8 kids vacation? Is this like a chill week?
This week has been freaking hard. Let's just put it that way. I love Mondays. I've always loved Mondays. Mondays are my favorite day of the week because I can get started on work again. But getting back up on the horse after, sifting through hundreds of emails and text messages and Facebook messages and it was a lot to get back from, and I still haven't caught up on all those yet. And it's 2:00 on a Tuesday.
There is something to that, right? Even if you do a short trip, let alone like a full week or 2 weeks, it does take a while to get back into the groove. I don't know why I do this to myself. I think we all do this. We're like, I'm so excited to get back to work. And then the first few days you're dragging. I'm like, why am I just not? I just don't have it. There's definitely something to getting back into the swing of entrepreneurship.
Absolutely. And do you remember this as a kid? So I remember my dad working long days leading up to any family vacation, like long days. And I'm like, dude, No, I didn't say dude, it was dad. But I'm like, why are you working so late? He goes, because I got to prepare to go on vacation. Then when I come back, I'm like, but now you're working longer again, dad. He goes, well, yeah, I got to catch up from the last week. And it's like, okay, yeah, we are officially in that spot.
Yeah. I mean, my parents were just corporate 9-to-5ers, so I didn't really see it. Maybe your dad was too, unless it was like, overtime or something. But yeah, I think I mainly experienced that as an entrepreneur because I didn't really feel it as much when I was a cabinet maker because I just showed up and did my work. But yeah, as an entrepreneur, it's like, there's a two-pronged thing I feel like happening. There's the actual work you're doing, but then there's mentally and cognitively you are re-engaging with your whole business. It's like you're revving the engine back up. So.
Yeah, and you're always on. And when I was pastoring too, like this is why I said in the pro community, I'm like, this is like my second unplug like ever in my adult life because I was always pastoring. Now there's always some text, some email coming through that I had to deal with. So my vacations were never really full unplugged vacations. And there's always something new. And they're joking, the church world is always Sunday's always coming. It just comes faster than others. And so you always had to be on and always had to be thinking. So bringing that into entrepreneurial, I mean, my schedule honestly is easier a little bit now than what it was when I was pastoring, just because I have a lot more control over my boundaries. So, yep.
On that note, and I want to make sure I turn it over to you since this is kind of a public coaching call, which thank you publicly, Mark, for being open to chat publicly. I knew you'd be a great fit for this because you're a podcaster, you're super vibrant and charismatic. You've come into pro and just, you become one of the most engaged members and everybody knows you now in pro. So, but on that note, how has a background in pastoral work transferred to you as a business owner and an entrepreneur? I've always wanted to ask you this.
Yeah, no. It's tick for tack the same, dude. I mean, it's people work. And I don't view myself as a pixel pusher. I view myself as a teammate. And I say that on my about page. I'm very much a be on a first name basis with your web designer style approach. And so when I came into this world, I quickly learned both through you and some other people that you've had on the show. I've taken a lot of stuff from Shannon Mattern, and a lot of other people you've had on the show too. I'm not a salesperson. I help people with their problems, and the websites are just how I happen to do it. And so with coming along these different folks, it's not just I'm trying to sell you on a website, get you in really fast, and then, you're just a number to me. It's more of, I know who you are. I know who your spouse is. I know who your kids are. Not like in a creeper way, but more just more than I actually care. And, I've always been in the people business. I love people, and I've always done what I have done because of people, mainly because of how people have honestly impacted my life. I've always wanted to impact those people as well. And so when I do people first, that has always been the game. And so the people first business approach, for me at least, has brought in better leads, better referrals. And then from going into there, it's just having the guts to put a price tag on, well, how much is it going to be? How much is it going to cost for me to help you? And I've had to have a lot of different mental shifts of, I'm not charging because I'm trying to be cheap or I'm trying to make the most money I possibly can, but it's how much do I need to be paid to have the space in my schedule to really serve you the best that I possibly can. And so that's kind of where the whole transition is. And obviously, like with pastoring and whatnot, I was teaching multiple times per week in front of people. And so I've taught everything from 5 people to, no joke, I MC a massive summer festival up in Michigan every single summer because of it. So I'm in front of about, 3,000 or 4,000 people on those days or so. So, the idea of getting in front of people and speaking and having these conversations, that has been terrific. And, being able to be very quick on my feet for trying to, answer questions, ask questions, engage with what's going on. It's honestly has just been a tick for tack chain over. It's just the fact of now, instead of my entire job is to just help people, now there actually is a finish line. So that part's kind of helpful. Not going to lie.
Do you come up through Columbus when you go up to Michigan?
No, so I'm in northern Indiana. So I'm right outside.
Right.
Yep. That's so right. Hail Notre Dame. Got to throw that one in there. So I'm literally just a few miles away from campus here by Notre Dame.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we'll do a meetup here soon, but it is really cool, man. And when it comes to pricing and profit, I'm sure that we'll get into some of the stuff we'll get into today, but let's also remember the fact that you do have 8 kids. You have a wife. we're both special needs parents. We have kiddos. You have a couple kiddos who have, well, a few kiddos actually with different levels.
Technically six. Technically, I have 6 special needs kiddos.
Let's just start with you, Mark. Who is Mark? And because I think this will transition to you being a people person. You're very open about your family life on your websites. Let's start with you, though. Just give us the foundation of you as a dad and what's behind the screen. And then we'll dive into how business is supporting all this.
Yeah, definitely. So I guess I'll start from the top. So I'm Mark. I'm owner, founder. I always joke I'm the head barista at Marc Hyde Creative, mainly coffee for me, and that my wife gets to tap into that too. But yeah, so I started Marc Hyde Creative back in 2020, actually. Honestly, because of COVID is why I started it. And so I was pastoring locally, had a family implosion. I won't go into that. I've gone into that in different shows. And so because of that, though, my wife basically had an affair and left. And then I was just emotionally, physically, spiritually not okay at all. And you can't help people when you're bleeding all over them. And I was doing that. And so I resigned technically in January of 2020. And then my contract, the church said, hey, just stay on till May, help the seniors graduate, just keep the wheels on the cart. If you find a job before then, super cool, just keep the wheels on the cart. I'm like, great, awesome. And so I had some really good interviews lined up, still in the marketing world. One was a print promotional company. One was actually with one of the sister colleges with Notre Dame, St. Mary's, had interviews lined up with them, was in money talks with another company. And then the world literally shut down. And so it shut down. And so I just had to hustle the crap out of everything to take care of the kids. And no one was calling back. No one was messaging, but I was able to use my network, use my sources, use my connections to just hustle the crap out of anything in the freelancer world. And I should say, coming out of that as well, I wasn't just, yes, I'm a pastorally trained, have masters, certifications, ordinations, all those different things, but I always have been in the marketing world too. And so in college, I ended up becoming the creative services project manager, over the whole creative services department of the university. So if it was on paper, it went through my desk first before it went out. And I oversaw all of that and did yearbook with that. So I've always had a design background. I did websites in high school on classic, just straight HTML, like no CSS, no nothing, like just straight HTML, learning from that and some computer coding and development there.
I was going to say, I didn't think you got to this development and design level in 4 years from ground up.
Oh, heavens no.
Unless you go through all the courses in pro. But that's a side story.
I do have a story about some of the courses that got me to where I am. But so in high school, I always did yearbook. In college, I did, print promotional design was more so it. I was not part of the web team at all. But I'm a millennial, dude. You know that. Yeah. We just do web. That's what we do. Yep. That's what we do. We had MySpace and Zanga and all that where we'd make our own stuff, but whatever. But then coming out of that in the church world, when you get hired on by a church that's not a mega church, you wear a million hats. And so I instantly stepped into the creative role in that as well. So within the first couple of years, I rebranded the whole church, turned to logos and everything, built their website and did a lot of stuff for the church. And, as student ministry, we're kicking out graphics all the time and logos and branding sequences and all these different things too. Every sermon series literally is a brand for that sermon series. And so we were doing that all the time. So when I left the pastoral world, I had a ton of marketing in my background already. And so when I left in 2020, I technically was in the marketing world professionally, plus my pastoral stuff since 2012, I think, or so. Yeah. So when I went on my own, I already had 8 years of experience in the background, not running a business, not doing websites. And so I got connected, though, with a local marketing company here in Michiana, which we call Michigan, Indiana.
Gotcha.
Marry them together. And he goes, hey, so what do you want to do? And I said, oh, I don't really want to do video. That's how you found me. I don't really do social media because I'm already doing that and I hate that. So what do you got? And he goes, well, do you want to try websites? And I said, sure. And absolutely just fell in love with it. And so I learned a lot of my processes and what page builder I use and stuff like that through him and just kind of ran off with it. And every client that I had from there referred me out, kept growing the prices. And we are to where we are here businessly with that. Business related with that. But on the family side, dude, so so I met my wife through the podcast that I run, Real Talk Christian Podcast. I actually interviewed her on episode 39 of the podcast. So our first ever conversation we ever had is live on air, and it's still out there, one of our most listened to episodes. And so I met her through the podcast because we wanted to interview someone who literally, as what I'm not trying to preach, but we see in James, there says true religion is taking care of widows and orphans. So we're like, all right, let's talk with a foster parent. And we asked a foster mom in our church, and she said, you don't want to talk with me. You want to talk with this crazy lady, Beth, who had 5 kids, who she adopted all of them, and she's single without any family support because her family lives in Central. At that time, they were all over the Midwest. And so come to find out, the person who set me up, Nicole Roberts, that was a setup to get us together. Just a fun fact there. So Nicole got that one locked in for us. Yeah. So, but yeah, we met through that. And then she moved up to South Bend literally the 8 months after we first recorded the podcast, in January of 2021, right? 2021. And then we got married in March of 2021. So we've been married for just a little over 3 years now with the 8 kids.
And then 8 kids now, blended family. And wow, what a story. I haven't listened to that yet. I'm going to make sure we link that in the show notes.
It's in the About page. So if you go to the About page and scroll to the very bottom, it has a link to that.
Okay. Yeah, I've got it pulled up here. So I'll make sure we link to that. But the reason I wanted to make sure we set the precedence for this is it's going to, I think, make sense to how many businesses you're running right now and the different branches you have, and then your background, because as we both know, it doesn't matter what background you have. Everyone could be a web designer, especially if you do have a background in any sort of communications or sales or pastoral or even marketing, whatever it is. So I think it's what's really cool. It's like one of my favorite things about this industry is nobody comes from an academic background. Like, I don't know anybody, I really don't, who went to college for 4 years, who owns their own web shop. The folks who went that route typically work for the entrepreneurs who are taking the risk and doing all this. So
yeah. And with modern stuff, dude, I mean, I've had to learn to be okay saying, yeah, I use a page builder because, I build a lot of blogs. Like, for some reason, bloggers, I have so many clients and contacts with them, but they poop on page builders like no one's business. Like, if you're not using, yeah, because of how many DOMs you have, how many different individual lines of code and things you have. And bloggers, high-end bloggers. Elementor is the biggest one that they hate. They also hate Divi. But I've had to persuade so many bloggers to say, I know in high-end blogging communities, they basically say, if you are using a page builder, you already lost. A lot of, I won't use names, but a lot of high-end, I would say pedestal blogging coaches will say that. And so right now, Genesis Framework and Cadence are the two. And Cadence is still, it's a bit of a page builder because WordPress is going that way. But the all-encompassing page builders get pooped on a lot in the blogging world.
I understand that. Look, I was a blog author for Elegant Themes. That's kind of how I got started in this world, really, this like the coaching world. And I think I can share this publicly. Elegant Themes does not use a page builder for their blog. It is the raw editor. You can't even access.
Well, I should say this. All of my blogging clients still do use the raw editor for their posts, and I build all the framework around. So they're still using the raw editor. So I do want to say that they're not using like Elementor page. Still the raw editor. It's just the content gets placed inside. But because of that, I've had to persuade a lot of people of, yes, it's a page builder, but it's fine. I promise. And I would say it's not Elementor, so don't worry about that. That's that world. I'm not pooping on people who say
like
that.
I said, I understand that coming from the time I did blogging for Elegant Themes, because I hated it at first because I had to look at everything in code, and I'm not the matrix guy. Like, I didn't really love it like that. But then I learned to really enjoy it, because when you're dealing with hundreds and eventually thousands of post types, you do not want to have builder elements in all those articles.
And I did migrate a blog off of Elementor for every post, and that was a chore. That was a job. I hired that out, homie. I didn't do that myself.
Okay. Yeah, I should have known. Yeah. The reality is, like, visual builders, page builders are totally apt and great for home pages, service pages, designed pages. But yeah, when it comes to like pure content, the more you get into that, the trickier it is. I'm in that situation now because I do use the Divi builder for particularly the podcast episodes here, but we have a nice template with all that. In an ideal world, would I change that just to, the raw text editor or the block editor with WordPress? I probably will eventually, just in case for any reason I decide to move from Divi. I have no plans on that, but I know now, just as a heads up for everyone, think about this when you're thinking about maintainability and scalability. If you do change your builder, you're going to change all your post types if you're using it. So it's something to consider.
Yep. And you're a big preacher of this inside of the group. And I'm a big preacher of it too, is the fact of every tool is different. Doesn't make it bad. It's just different. Learn and know your tools. So the builder I use is Cornerstone through ThemeCo. I'm the only user of that in all of the pro community, actually. But I know it inside and out so stinking well that I can look at a website and go, yeah, I know exactly how I would build that. In Elementor, I'd have no clue. In Divi, I'd have half a clue because I have a lot of maintenance clients who built their websites were built on Divi from a different marketing company that I just take over their maintenance and support. So I know Divi decently well, but my builder, oh yeah, dude, I can do stuff, what most people might do in a couple hours. Give me 10 minutes just because I know it that well. And so that's the biggest thing.
Okay. So how much, let's run over like where you're at with your businesses right now, Mark. And then I want to turn it over to you to make this some coaching fun too. Tell us about like how many businesses are you running? You have 8 kids, so I imagine running a handful of businesses is no big deal either. How many businesses are you running?
Technically, I would say businesses. I only run one. I would say so. I run Marc Hyde Creative.
All roads lead to
now
Marc
the
Hyde.
podcast, Real Talk Christian Podcast. That's honestly just a hobby with a buddy of mine, and a hobby that's been successful. I won't lie, but we started Real Talk Christian Podcast as a teaching ministry of the church, actually, when I was on staff. And then when I left, we just took it because the church was like, we don't want to deal with it. Just have fun with it. So we took that over. So we did monetize that for a good long while, and we were monetized really, really well. But it became a really big beast, and both of us have kids and families and church, and he's a union rep for his steel company. And so my co-host is busy as all get out. So we've scaled it back a little bit, but the podcast, that's more of just Mark's hobby and Mark's excuse to hang out with his best friend all the time. That's really what that is. And there's a lot of ministry we have. So I guess you could say Real Talk Christian Podcast is a business because there is a support community of a couple thousand people on Facebook and other things like that as well.
I didn't know that.
So there is that. So it is a very large community that we do, and we're getting texts and DMs every single day because of that. But then I do have Marc Hyde Creative. I started a second company a few years ago called Small Church Media, smallchurch.media. The idea was the fact of there's a lot of church communication things out there and resources for the big churches, 1,000 or plus. But for the average size church of 50 to 75 people, they're like, dude, we can't even pay our pastor. You want us to do what? Like, that makes no sense. So that's where that dream and vision came from that. And that I've intentionally was like, I'm not making money off of it. It's just a free resource. And so I have a free resource library. And that's something I want to talk to you about on this coaching call of what do we do for that? Because I do have, an email list of a couple hundred church people right there who I could tap into, and I just don't know how I want to do it or what we want to do with that. I started Get Found Locally, which I know we've talked a lot about in the group, and I'm trying to push that, but it's fallen on a lot of mute ears because I feel like the people that it's going after, I need to reposition that a little bit because a lot of folks that are successful using just social, basically Get Found Locally, the idea is the fact of you pay a subscription fee monthly or yearly. You get a one-page website and a whole bunch of other stuff that comes with it to help you market your small business. Because if you can't afford, the 5-7K website, well, what do I have for you? Well, I'm like, well, we can go down to like it's still a $3,500 website, and they're like, yeah, I still can't do that. And so I was just saying, all right, see you later. So I wanted something to like a final like safety net to catch people if they bounce if they're too small. But I'm still figuring out how to position that one to actually get some leads because I've had zero traction from that except people who look at it and go, oh, that's really good, but I'm doing okay on social media, or I'm doing really good, but I don't really need a website right now because of this, or I'm okay. So I'm figuring that piece of the puzzle out. So when you look at all the different things I'm doing, I guess I would say business wise, I just have Marc Hyde Creative, but on paper, there's probably more about 4 that I either actively do or it's on the back burner or want to do something with. But then on top of that, we're very involved with our kids' school. I go there and teach in chapels and spiritual emphasis days and retreats and all that, and do a lot with church too. So we're as busy as they come.
Whew. I'm worn out just hearing you talk about everything you're doing, Mark. And I'm a father of 3 and special needs and everything else. But man, my goodness. So, but you obviously have some serious drive and some energy, and I'm amazed at how much you're doing. But I think what I want to dig out of you in this one here is where the challenges are and there's obviously some level we want to get to. I imagine clarity with a lot of this. So the foundation is markhyde.com. That's your main agency site. That's you, solopreneur.
Yep.
Do you have a support system? You said you hired some stuff out before, but do you have any team behind you?
I have 3 VAs actually. Okay. And so I have one VA who does my monthly reporting every single month. Amy is fantastic. So that's pretty much all she does. Or if I have different projects that come in, I'm like, I just need help. Amy, do you have time to do it? She's a school teacher here. She's also a foster mom, single foster mom. And so she helps me with that every single month. Another VA, which is actually my sister-in-law. I'm starting to, as people, because I'm for some reason getting a lot of retainer requests or like, hey, can we do something like this where, we pay you $400 a month to do whatever. Mm-hmm. And so I always think, okay, is there something that's repeatable that I can systematize? And Missy does all of that. And so Missy's helped me out with a lot of projects like that. And then I have a copywriter, Aubrey, who for my primary SEO client, she does all the blogging for them, all the posting, all the sharing, all that kind of stuff. And she does some ghostwriting for me too.
Why are they not on your site, Mark?
Because I haven't updated the about page yet.
This is really...
It's on the list, but there's also like
priority one. Priority one, dude. Here's why. Because if I were a potential client, I absolutely love the fact that you are an adoption dad with your wife, with Beth and everything. And now like you guys have an amazing thing. But if I did not know they were behind you, I would wonder how, like, I would be a little worried that Mark is just busy and doing a lot. I would kind of wonder, like, is he going to be able to communicate well if I didn't know you? So I think that would really help any sort of hesitation. And the clients probably aren't mentioning that to you, but I think in reality, there's probably a lot of people who might be like, can Mark handle this size project with 8 kids and just him? So I think it's really important to make sure everyone knows you have a support system behind you.
Yeah, definitely. And I've thought, bro, I mean, you've mentioned it so many times on different calls where if you hear me, clickety clack, I'm making lots of notes over here too. And you've said on calls and you've put so many fires under our butts, like if you got a VA, get them on your site now. And it's like, maybe next week we'll be fine. And then, nope, here comes next week. Josh does it again. So it's one of those things where it's like, yes, I got to do it. There's also, I'll be honest with you, man, there's a little bit of pride too in being the solopreneur. And my name is on everything. And so therefore I don't want to have crap results. So there's that little bit of fear of when you work with, I'm going to say in the third person, it's going to sound bad, but when you work with Mark, you work with Mark. Like that's the whole goal of the agency. So there is a little bit of, if I say that, I'm like, is that taking it away or is it actually positioning it where it's like, no, this is a viable business, not just some dude out of his basement.
It's a support system. That's what it is. It's a support system. It's so empowering for clients to know that you have either a team or a support system or a community, even with Web Designer Pro. Obviously, we've been talking about that in some of the weekly calls. It's like, as soon as you join Web Designer Pro, you don't need to put the member directory on your website, but you could say, I'm also in a community. If we get stuck or if there's something that is not my area of expertise, I have people that are not a 10,000 person Facebook group, but are actually people I know their name, and we partner up and collaborate together. So you actually have 2 levels of support system behind you with a small support system team and pro. So I think you should 100% get those on your about page. You don't need to have a separate team page yet, but at least on your about page about, your support system. All right, for different roles.
If you don't mind me, I'm on my page right now. So if we scroll through, this is where it gets really hard, where it's like, don't be a podcaster. Remember, it's a coaching call. So as I scroll through the about page, like, I've tried to position it where it's like, hey, here's me. I do include a joke right at the beginning because everyone says, so is Mark short for Marcus? And so I just lean into it because it's no, it's not. My first name is Timothy and I don't even go by it. And my middle name's not even spelt normal. So thanks, Mom. So I say that on phone call. So I plapped it on the website. And then I tried to position it where why I do what I do. And I want to rework that section just a little bit. And then I have some of the certifications and awards that I've done. Do you think it would be better to put something like that higher up? Or is it more of like after the do you know what the future holds? Like what say you? And then there's those reviews right there.
I would put it higher up with the idea of a team, just in the nature of people skimming websites. And I would say for your current about page for anyone who wants to check it out at markhyde.com/about. I would say probably below the video. This is why I exist. And then something about, because you have like your Best of Michigan Business, BBB accredited business. You're talking about the business itself of your business. And I would say we also have a support system. And again, like I show on my team page, have them as collaborates frequently or occasionally. And then you go into a little bit more about you and the promise. So actually, technically, I'd almost say, I guess maybe right now, if I had to today say, Mark, put it here, I would put it above my promise to you section and below why I do what I do. Again, with the idea of a $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 project with a serious business, I would want to know that you have a support system behind you. I don't want my project taking 6 months because you got 8 kids and you're dealing with a few different wings of your business, quite frankly. So I really think it's important to in just one section, 3 people, short little bio. What you told me is literally what could be like. You could take the transcript from this and just have a little section, meet the team behind Mark or the support system. Simple as that to start, just to show that. And when somebody inevitably asks you, how do you do everything yourself? You could say, well, I have a support system. I'm the creative director. You talk with me. But when it comes to repeated work or any sort of work that is going to be admin or ongoing or content related, I have a team that steps in and assists when needed, or if projects get bigger in scope, we can crank them out. So.
Yeah, definitely. No, that makes sense. And the wild thing too, the business, I was just talking to my wife about it. Very rarely do I rarely work more than 40 hours a week too. Like that's the wild thing. And your position is always, you're the gong in my head, dude, for the last 2 years of get the lifestyle you want. And I have to remind myself that, when I get back, I miss the good old days of being a pastor and doing this. And I got paid to go to high school football games. Like, that was always fun. It's the fact of I'm living someone else's dream because I have freedom in the lifestyle that I want. And, we're on track to cross over the 6-figure mark even before the year ends. And so, which is super exciting. I looked at our numbers
for last year, right? Didn't we talk last year?
And I fell short last year. And this year we're hopefully by the end of summer, fingers crossed, might even pass what I made last year. And so every year has been up to the right, which has been fantastic.
Well, we were talking about cussing before we went live. And I know you come from a pastoral background, but I have to say, hell yeah, Mark, that's freaking
You're
awesome.
You're boss. It's your podcast. It's your podcast.
I'm pumped for you, dude. Congrats.
Thank you. But a lot of it's been positioned because of you. And this is why, I've gone into a Web Designer Pro. It's one of those of Josh got me to where I was, you got me through a ceiling, and then I've done a couple other courses and have other coaches. They got me through the next ceiling, and I'm like, dang it, I need Josh to get me through the next ceiling. So that's what this phone call's for, is to hopefully get through that next ceiling.
Okay, tell me what that first ceiling was, and then let's talk about the current ceiling.
The first one was I finished a project. Dude, I remember this clear as day. So I finished a project. This was probably end of January 2022. I finished a project. It was the most I ever got paid. It was like $1,800, which was big time back then. And it was a big project. I got it done, finished it. Cool. I had nothing coming down the pike at all. I had no maintenance plans because I was like, this is just a Band-Aid gig until I can get a real job. And do I really want to do this? I don't know. And I started flipping the crap out because I'm like, I got no new projects coming in. I quit, doing little social media posts for this company because they were paying dirt. I quit doing this because I was like, I want to open my schedule to doing this. And so the first hurdle was, how do I stop living that feast or famine lifestyle? That was the first hurdle. And I remember my wife looked at me probably at about April or May 2022, and she goes, I know we don't need all the money right now, but you've made some money. It's just sitting in your account. Can you pay yourself, please? And I'm like, nope, because I don't know when the next gig is coming and I want money in the business account. So we'll trickle down a little bit. And, just having those real heart-to-heart conversations with Beth and going, okay, I don't like the stress of this. I don't like, literally waking up in a panic attack. I literally woke up in a panic attack at 2 a.m. thinking I'll never have another job again, doing, a bunch of Craigslist postings at 2 a.m. just because I needed to go to sleep. So I needed to do something. And so that was really hard. And, I would dip my toe into going back into corporate world. I had a few really good interviews. They offered me the job and went, I got to work from home. I can't be in an office for how many hours I know you guys want me to be there for. And so the first hurdle was, how can I break that feast or famine lifestyle? Which then that's when, and I don't remember the exact date. I'm going to pull it up real quick, of when I first signed up for your maintenance plans. And because I remember the first time I heard you, what was that podcast, dude? You said it right before we went live. Self-made web designer, the first time I ever heard of you. And you were talking about maintenance plans. And so I started doing that. And again, we're talking like $50 a month maintenance plans. I didn't want to host anybody because I had the fear of, well, if I don't do this for forever, I don't want to be liable. You host it, I'll drop the price and I'll maintain it. Now it's no, let's go for it. And so here we go. Sense. So I lied. It wasn't 2022. It was 2021 when I had that panic attack in January, February, because at the end of that year, I purchased the maintenance plan course back in September of 2021. And so I bought that. And because I'm like, this might be the ticket to do it. And right now, the goal now, the next ceiling is I want to have enough maintenance plan clients where my monthly salary, because no matter how much I make for the business, I pay myself a monthly salary. I want my monthly salary, sans bonuses, sans extra jobs, where if all crap hits the fan, no projects come in for a year, I know I can pay myself just on maintenance plans alone. And I'm close. I'm really close. But that's the next hurdle. But the first hurdle was feast or famine. The next one was feeling confident to have the right solutions in place. So that way, when someone said, hey, I have this problem, do you have an answer? I could say, yes, here we go. Let's go and do it. So I signed up for a different course and did that. I actually did Lee Blue, which I know you've had him back in the day in the Web Designer Pro, which honestly, dude, that pro training library that we have inside of Web Designer Pro is worth it, just right there.
I mean, obviously I'm biased, but I couldn't agree more. I need to promote that better because literally that pro training library is just.
I've watched some of those 3 times just because like April Ray's on email marketing. I'm going through it for the 3rd time because I'm like, this is where it's at. And so, stuff with Michelle and, there's just so much good. I say it with love. There's good crap in there. But so that's my next hurdle, bro. And that's the thing that I'm trying to figure out now is how can I position myself with, getting enough maintenance clients where that is sealed. And that's why I was pushing really hard to figure out how to up the prices, offer more things, get people in. Cause I'm like, okay, if I can get people to upgrade to a package, I don't need to go fight for new ones. It's just selling people that I've already sold. But everyone, it's kind of the curse of I already do great work for what they're paying for. So they're like, no, we're good. We're fine.
I actually love that we've taken time to get your backstory and to hear about the business arm, the different arms and wings of your business to get to this point. Cause now it all makes sense with what you started, what you have going on. And now where you've got a decent amount of recurring income going in, it's not where you want it to be yet. It's not stable. But with one-off projects and a few different things going on, you will cross 6 figures this year. I have no doubt about that. Oh, yeah.
And most of my clients do subscribe to some sort of maintenance plan. I will say that, or hosting. So, I mean, I still crank out tons of projects. I still white label for a church marketing company. I do their websites. I actually have a call with one of their clients tomorrow. But so I still do a lot of things that I love and that it's good. It's more of,
why are you doing, is that needed? The white label thing you just talked about?
Honestly, is it needed? Yeah, I actually do. I actually do rely on that mainly because they charge a very high premium rate and they actually pay me more than what I would charge a smaller church for their website. And so it actually, honestly, it's around the same, if not, a little bit less of a quote of if I would have offered that quote to that church myself, if that makes sense.
The only problem with that, though, as you probably know, is like you're not growing your business.
Right. But check this out, though. Yeah. I got a weird relationship with them where every time I do the project, I get to put on the portfolio, I get the link, and they offer maintenance and hosting plans through me because this church marketing company is primarily a consulting and social media company who learned we need to offer websites because people need them. These people need websites too. So I came in as a designer. Nathan gave me my first shot a couple of years ago, mainly because I was just in Facebook groups being helpful in the church communication world, just answering a bunch of people's questions. And so every ongoing maintenance hosting plan, it gets pushed my way. So out of the, I would say maybe 6 websites I've built with him, 5 of them are on hosted and maintenance plans now, or some sort of retainer.
So, okay, initially I was worried about that because I was thinking you basically have a part-time job, but no, it's actually contributing to your business in a big way. So 100% keep that going. So with this the next little ceiling that we're going to bust through here, markhyde.com, your main agency site, your solopreneur site. We've already talked a little bit about where that's at. That's the moneymaker. That's the biggie.
That is the moneymaker.
It's solopreneur, small support system behind you. Getfoundlocally.net is a low-end ticket offer, brand new. We've talked about that a lot in Pro. We'll bring that up here, where that may or may not fit in. And then you have kind of your pastoral side of things with your podcast, which is slightly monetized, and then a complete passion project with small church media. Those two things, I hate to even say pause your passion projects, but if those are not contributing to the pants, it sounds so douchey, but I almost feel like you're at a point where you just have to put all your focus on what is going to build up your revenue.
Yep. And so I have paused small church media. I paused that, well, it's been well over a year. It was right before Lennox was born. So I've dropped no new episodes for that. Real Talk Christian Podcast, to slow it down, we actually now, instead of recording every Friday, we record one Friday a month. They're shorter episodes every other week. So we've scaled that back down too, just because I couldn't keep up with it. Chris couldn't keep up with it. So we're doing the right stuff with that. With small church media, though, I've had, and maybe we can bring this up a little bit later, with Get Found Locally, I feel like I could take that copy paste and turn that into something for these small churches. But honestly, the small church world is so hard because there's already 1,000 companies out there. They're all competing for that real estate. I don't want to compete for it.
I wouldn't even, honestly, I don't know. I would just shut that down, or just don't even think about it and worry about it right now. Like, we could come back to that when you're at a healthy 6 figures stability. You have a number, obviously, of what you want to bring home net and what you would probably, again, like to get to as far as business and profit. So let's just worry about that first. Yep. I think with Real Talk being very streamlined and templatized, you're working less than 40 hours a week. So that's awesome. If you're working 80 or 90, different story right now. But you got a lot of good freedom-based principles in place, Mark. Like, now we just need to figure out recurring income with Marc Hyde and Get Found Locally. So
that's it.
One thing we've talked about a couple of times in our weekly hot seats in Pro, since we're talking publicly now, for everyone's reference, is you've really tried to figure out, how should I have Get Found Locally be a low end ticket offer that's monthly, but then you have support plans and care plans with Marc Hyde, and then the line blurs in between support plans and growth plans. Yep. I know you and I talked about this because you have hosting and maintenance, and then you have ongoing growth services and marketing services, but then it's like, does a client understand the two? So,
and that's what I want to talk about for this, because even the whole vacation last week, that's where my brain went. Was for these specific plans, what's the, and that's the nice thing about, unplugging for a week, is you let your brain just have, finally have some freaking space. But
you go on vacation so you can think about your work and then not have to answer emails.
Well, you can't shut off the entrepreneurial brain, bro. You just can't do it. My wife knows it, but I did not bring my computer with me on vacation. That was a win for her. So the computer stayed home.
That's right, because you wrongly messaged me in Pro and let me know that you're on your phone. I was like, enjoy the vacay, man. But it was fun seeing the pictures and stuff. So
absolutely. And so that's what I need to figure out is, what can we do to clean up those lines? And I already have an SEO client. I already have results I can show, but it's more of, I don't like to sell unless I 100% believe in it. And so I don't want to push SEO services because it's hard for me especially for small businesses, to justify the price tags to get results, I guess. So I can easily justify my website prices. That's no problem. I can easily justify the basic maintenance and supports. But when you look at a small business and I say, well, it's going to be $1,000 a month starting for SEO, that's plus that includes maintenance and support as a part of one of those lines.
Right.
They're like, well, holy crap, back up. When in reality, you and I know most good SEO agencies start at $5,000 to $6,000 a month. And so there's that awkward line. It's that's where my ceiling's at right now.
Okay. So let's not even worry about even Get Found Locally yet. Let's just focus on Marc Hyde, because I think Get Found Locally could be productized later down the road. And
that's the goal. It already is productized. So if someone just happens on a whim to sign up for it, it's already productized. We're good.
So what I would do And what I'd recommend for you with your current suite of services is, you know what's coming, right, Mark? My 3 categories of services: build, support, grow,
which are on the homepage now. I put those on the homepage yesterday.
Beautiful. But your services, you still have 4. You have website design development and then WordPress website design development. I still think you should just do web design and development. And then you could have a sub page or a service page for WordPress specifically for the white label stuff if you want to promote that. But then I would have support for your care plans, and then growth, which is going to be SEO, but there's no reason for you not to include strategy, whether it's quarterly strategy calls or however you want to frame consultative services in a growth plan. But dude, you're also killer at design and copy and lead generation, whether you realize it or not. Everything you've learned and you do on your website, you could wrap up inside of growth services, which is going to be included in SEO. So I actually feel like you're sitting on an amazing stack of growth services, but it's just not presented well. First of all, your sites are amazing, design, everything else. I don't say that in a derogatory. I mean, I just feel like I think the biggest thing for you to get through the ceiling is to make a clear distinction between support plans and growth plans at this stage, and boost up your growth plans. Have SEO, copy, messaging, which is basically what you're doing. I guarantee you're already doing that in your SEO plans. Yep. Conversion, which is going to include lead generation, call to action, also messaging and copy. And then I would do some sort of consultative service in there for now, since you could handle it at a higher rate. Like, do quarterly growth strategy calls. We just talked about it on the podcast. You know Lisa well, who's killing it and doing that.
Dude, we call her Queen Lisa for a reason.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, she's love
you, Lisa.
Oh my gosh, is she killing it right now? Especially with these quarterly growth or quarterly strategy calls, which could be in a growth plan. So that's what I would do, man. I think making those few shifts and then creating a couple tiers of growth plans, I think you'd be set. What I would do for you right now as a starting point is for your services, for your support and care plans, I'd almost say just do 2 for right now. I mean, I love the look of 3, but for right now, to simplify this, I would just have basic.
You're sounding like a preacher when you say 3 points there, boss.
Yeah, the holy trinity of web design services. Please say that, like, make a video, and please do, like, I don't know if you have a pastor voice, but please do that. A preacher voice. Marc Hyde,
no, my old senior pastor, I grew up right outside of Gary in East Chicago. So I sometimes slip into that voice more than the preacher voice. So
the client says only $99 a month. No, it's a
little bit more ghetto than that, but it's okay.
Oh, sorry. Okay. So I would do definitely in some sort of TV style preacher voice, make a video about your plans, which support I would do basic, and then like complete. That sounds cool. That's what you have right now. Or basic, advanced. I think $99 and $249 for hosting and maintenance plans is great, especially because you have different levels of projects.
Okay, so don't even drop that middle one. Keep that at the $250, because I have a few clients who, when that same plan was at $179, I had people talk. Like, I think I have 4 people signed up for when it was at $179.
Okay,
but since I pushed it to $250. Everyone just jumps down. And obviously I don't want to keep offering lower money, but I don't want to leave money on the table either.
Why don't we try $199? Just double it.
Okay.
Why don't we try basic at $99, complete at $199, which is going to be for a little extra support, good for e-commerce or any more advanced projects. Those are your 2 hosting tiers.
So should I put that on there, honestly, dude? Like, I feel like that's such an elementary question of who is this best for?
Oh,
because I don't have that
necessity, dude. Just like what I have in my ranges. It's like projects in this range. Have you seen that page on my site, Josh?
Yep. Sure.
Everyone go to josh.intransitstudios.com. It's the freelance version of my website, my agency site. And what I have on there is this one's going to be the potential client page. So /potential-client for anyone wants to check it out. What I have there is sites we've done in this range are like this, and real world live examples. So you could do something similar for your maintenance plans. So basic, great, or you could do like a good fit for sites that are updated quarterly, or don't have like ongoing new pages and content and stuff like that. But Complete are going to be best for more complex sites, advanced sites, and something that requires a little more ongoing support. But what we talked about a couple months back was this blurred line in between your growth category. Currently, you have a growth wing of your maintenance plans, which is $5.99 a month. But what I told you is what I'll reiterate publicly is I was looking at that. I'm like, dude, that's a growth plan. That's like your entry tier to your growth plan, which could still technically work on your support page, because you could say we have a growth option for support and that leads them into a growth plan. But I think for now, I would almost just say have 2 tiers for maintenance and then 2 tiers for growth. And in your growth plan, they include maintenance, but starts at $5.99, and then maybe your second growth plan is $9.99. Maybe it's $1,000 a month.
Let me ask you this then, man. So is it worth? Because I do have a few people who, mainly because they're my friends. I have a few different friends. Some are churches, some are business owners, where I just host their website, and it's $30. And I host everything through SiteGround. So it already has built-in backups. It has built-in plugin auto updates for basic stuff, basic uptime. Like, it has the basic crap in there. And so I just host it for them. So that way I'm like, if crap hits the fan, you call me. You don't call anybody else. Is it worth offering a third one of hosting? Or because I don't want to. I feel like most people who are serious about their business, and if you're paying me $5,000 for a website, but you can't pay $100 a month to make sure it's good. All
right, Mark, I know it's been a few years, but let me ask you and put you on the spot as my student. What did I teach in my maintenance plan course with that type of plan? What would I recommend to you with that $30 a month plan or $39 a month?
Crap, it's been a while.
Been a few years, kids. That's all right. Backup plan. It's hidden. It is your backup. That is when somebody denies a $9.99 a month, you could say, well, we could at least do this. This way, I'll host the site. I'll still be your web designer.
And that's exactly how those conversations went. So see, you're already like seared into my subconscious, bro.
You already went through it and did it. You probably just didn't remember. That's what we talked about.
Now, I do have a little, now, since I got you here on the spot, bro, my turn to put you on the spot. Should I get rid of this sentence below my support plans where it says need hosting and no maintenance? I can do that too. Simply reach out with your needs. I'll help you find a plan that best fits you. Or again, is that opening up the potential for the A, tire kickers, or B, people who are trying to get the Porsche on the Pinto budget?
Yeah. I'd say, honestly, I'd probably say like run a quarterly test on that. I would say knock it off for a quarter and just promote the 2 as far as your hosting and support plans, your care plans. And then again, you got you're already doing it. The plan B is somebody says, I appreciate it, Mark, but $99 is a month is a lot. We don't really do that much ongoing stuff with the site. You could say, well, for you, I'd be happy to at least be in your corner. We can do your hosting, basic support for $39 a month. And then if you ever do want to upgrade, you'll be able to have that option, but this will give you a discounted hourly rate for when you need us. And, still some more value for just $39 a month. So
yeah, no, that sounds good. And honestly, that little blue box could be if you want to grow your website, click here. I mean, better language. And then it jumps you to the growth page.
Yeah. And so that's what I would say to start 2 tiers for hosting, maintenance, support. And then if you want to say, even in that same page, if you're interested in more growth and marketing services, our growth plans start at $5.99. You could actually, we're looking at it. So for those, we're not screen sharing anything, but we're both looking at this.
You can screen share if you want. I don't mind.
That's all right. I might throw off the editing for this because, that's the beautiful thing about the Hot Seats in Pro, by the way, is for everyone who doesn't know, we actually look at the screen. It's very visual.
Hot Seats and your freaking Chrome extension that blows all of our brains when you edit the websites live in front of our faces.
Everybody right now, if you're on Chrome, download Edit Anything. And while you're looking at a site, you can edit the text, and it is mind blowing. You'll look awesome for clients. So, but what I was going to say with this is now we're looking into the growth plans. I would do the same for that, Mark. I would have 2 growth plans. I think if you did $5.99 or even $4.99 for a starter growth plan, and then $9.99, 2 different growth plans that have the different levels of, again, what we just talked about, a quarterly strategy call, the SEO, which is at different levels, conversion, lead generation, stuff like that, which they could use the time blocks for. I will say 5 hours right now for $5.99. That scares me a little bit. I would almost say like maybe 3 hours in the first growth tier, and then maybe 5 in the $9.99 tier.
Or honestly, because like right now, so I just sent. I'm going to pull up that proposal real quick. So I just sent out a new proposal, and because they were. There it is. They were with, it's a physical therapy office. They were with one of those like bro marketing companies. Mm-hmm. And so they did SEO with them. And then they also did their website through, they need a new website. They're looking at new SEO stuff. And the guy was wanting to stay locally here in the South Bend area. And so the quote I sent him for SEO, full disclosure, was, it included 2 blog posts a month, which is pretty standard, for me. And then we post it to your Google Business profile for updates. I also do tell people, because again, this is where it's hard because I don't want to productize and systematize everything. There is a people element where it's like, okay, if you want to make one of those blog posts into a landing page for a service, we can swap one of those out. No big deal.
Dude, like that needs to be on the site. You're doing lead generation, email list building. And
if you, and this is the other thing too, I've been positioning myself both in my Marc's Marketing Minute, which is my monthly newsletter, which, dude, my open rates are like 75.
You had a newsletter?
Yeah, it's been going since January.
The onions back on all the things you're doing here.
When you told us that we should do it, I'm like, all right, balls to the wall, let's go. And so I think I started it intentionally to give people updates into Linux. That's really where I think it started, because everyone wanted to know. So I'm like, hey, if you want to know about Linux, I'm going to give you some tips too, like you're a client. And so now I use Fluent CRM. So it's all stays inside of my WordPress website. I use Postmark for all my deliverability. And so with Fluent CRM, I at least have my client tab so I can email my clients really, really quick. Like, hey, I'm going on vacation. Do not email me. And so stuff like that. But with I'm going to pull up the newsletter to see when
that's just for clients, right? Because I was going to say that could be something. Oh.
So if you fill out a contact form for me, there's now a little checkbox that says, do you want to sign up for Marc's Marketing Minute? And it kind of explains what it is, or yes or no. And so I have 92 active clients on my email list. Dude. But then when you look at my tags, only 34 of those are clients.
Okay. So this needs to be promoted the freaking heck out of, dude. That's wonderful. Because what you're doing here is like, I don't know how intentional this is, but with a monthly newsletter, what is it called?
Averaging 80% open rate.
Wow. Marc's monthly, what is
Marc's Marketing Minute. I started it January. Yep, started it back in January.
Marc's monthly minute. No, sorry. Marc's Marketing Minute.
Marc's Marketing Minute.
Okay. That is so hard for me. Marc's Marketing Minute. Got it. Okay. The reason why this is clutch, especially for those who are on the fence, is like you're giving a chance to share some authority and expertise month to month with all this. So I definitely think that should be a big time lead generator on your site. Not even just in your contact form, but a page like on your quick menu, just /newsletter. And then I really think you should do that.
So if you go to my free resources tab, and then you'll have a Marc's Marketing Minute page right there where you can download my other free resources. But then my blog, I've been pushing really hard, dude, there's at least one, if not up to two, one couple months, there's 3 blog posts that I'm kicking out every single month. Okay. And it's been pushing hard on digital marketing services because I know that's where the direction needs to go for the business for that ceiling. So I'm like, I want to position my articles and blogs in such a way where I look like an authority in that space when they come here to get that information. Now it's just having the, for lack of a better word, balls to do it and pull the trigger and start selling it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So I would definitely put that as well in the quick menu, like as its own link. Free newsletter, sign up for Marc's Marketing Minute. You have free resources in the quick menu on the footer of your site, but I think the actual link
in the footer. Oh, I see. I see. I was looking up at the top.
In the footer. Yeah. Have Marc's Marketing Minute there. Yeah, I think that would be.
I don't know why I don't do what I do for all my other clients where it's just don't block in the footer.
Well, it's really, it's all right. Oh, well, yeah, you could do that. Yeah, for sure.
Like blog style.
Yeah. Make that the main call to action, because that way you're going to build your list. We all know it's 2024. You build your list, you build your income. So build your list, Build your list.
Hold up.
One more time. Build your
Before
list.
you sound clip that mug. Build your
there
list.
we go.
Build your income.
Yep. Build your list. Build your income. I think I stole that from Amy Porterfield.
And that's what I've been talking about. And a lot of the training I did with Lee set me up to offer all of those services. So I know how to do it. I know the best way to do it.
That's what I mean.
It's more of having the guts to know how to sell it. And then
here's how to sell it, Mark. Just list out the things you can do in your growth plans. And the results are going to come. You've already got some results from that, but I would start with 2 clear distinctions between growth plans. Similarly with support plans, you're going to have some clients who may just want to do a blog a month or like one lead generator that you set up and then occasional consultative services. And you may have one who's like, Mark, you're my guy. I want to do 3 blogs a week or 3 blogs a month. We want to do lead generators a lot. We want to do a lot of ongoing support. And you have to have an option for them that may start at $1,000 a month, maybe even up to $2,000 to $3,000 a month. So,
well, let's take $1,000. I mean, the one client I have, we built out a custom Google review request for each of their 3 locations. We respond to all the we respond to all the Google replies. We do the blogging. So I already have a high ticket SEO client. It's more of I just don't push it really hard because honestly, full disclosure too, it's the fact of I want to make sure that I don't position myself where all of a sudden I have to work those 60-hour work weeks. So it's also, as I'm trying to build my business, I'm trying to build my bottom end. And so I've worked a lot with my copywriter, Aubrey, to be like, hey, if stuff comes in, are you ready? And she goes, sell it hard. You're
fine. I honestly don't, I wouldn't even worry about that. That is a very, very good problem to have.
I get in my head a lot if you can't tell, man.
We all do, but that's what I'm here for, Mark. Listen, you have the support system you need to get the recurring revenue it's in place.
Yeah.
All you need, I almost wonder, I don't even want to talk about Get Found Locally yet. I feel like there's enough to do with this. I really think you'll be fine. You could use getfoundlocally.net as a lead generator or as a low ticket offer potentially, but with your custom services and then your maintenance, your care plans, and then your couple growth options there with the different things you're doing in that category, that's it. I really just think you should just, tweak your site ever so slightly with those offers and just sell, baby, sell. Yep. In the words of Mike Michalowicz, who was on the podcast, that's what he told me here. And I'm like, that's a great, you get to the point where you have everything you need. You've refined it. Just sell like crazy. Like that's all we need to worry about really for the rest of this year is just sell, and sell it. You've got everything you need.
And coming from the other side, it's the fact of I'm not selling. And this is where it is. I'm not selling, I'm helping. It's just there's a price tag for the help. And I'm saying that for someone listening. Yeah, you know what I mean?
I just say that. I mean, like literally, let's just get let's get people purchasing this. That's what I mean. Like your marketing strategies, maybe a separate combo. I don't know, but
you got my gears turning hard, bro. So
let's make a list. Like, do you have like a
my Evernote is pulled up, man? I'm ready.
Okay, so
I got a whole bunch of notes already.
Step 1, your about page. Get your team on there. It's your support system. That could be a quick win. Wouldn't take. You can probably do that after this call if you want, depending on your day. Get them up there. Quick little bio. That's a good start. Step 2, put your newsletter in your footer. Either a Mark's Marketing Minute as a quick menu item, or put a lead, like a legit email sign up on there. Is that on your homepage too? I'd put that on your homepage as well.
Nope, right now it's just kind of tucked away.
Yeah, don't tuck it away, man. You gotta whip it. You gotta whip it out, man. Whip out that.
Keep it PG over here, folks. Let's go,
man. I got
8 kids. Come on now.
I hope so. Yeah, right. I hope some of your old church, your congregations listening to this one. Whip out that lead generator.
Oh, they knew I could be a little crass.
Flop it on the homepage. All right, we'll move on from that. I have to remember, this is, by the way, how unprofessional Web Designer Pro is. When you get into the hot seats, this is about as clean as it'll be. So,
it's a party. That's the one call I don't miss. I rarely have missed a Tuesday.
We do have fun. I won't apologize for it. So those are the 2 quick wins, and then I would condense your web design services to just web design, build like your build category. And then you could have a sub page for your WordPress, which you already have. Care. So support is your hosting and care plans, the 2 different tiers, 99, and let's just bounce it down to 199. Let's see how that goes.
Okay.
Just double it. That's basically just a little more support for those who need it. Most people will be on 99. Your $39 is your hidden downsell. That's your backup plan. And then growth categories. I would call it, I would even, SEO is a part of it, but I would almost say like, yeah, growth plans, which included in growth is SEO, lead generation, copy, messaging, list building, everything that we just talked about. And then offer in a strategy call with those once a quarter for those. I would even, because you could do it for your maintenance plan clients, but if you did it for your maintenance plan clients, I would say maybe offer that like every once in a while. And then
but they don't want it. They don't want it.
They don't want a strategy call.
I've tried. I've tried. And they're like, nope, we're good. Like they just email me when they need me. And
what I would do is get the growth plans ready and then offer a free strategy call and just say, maybe you don't even say it then, but I would offer another round of free strategy calls, but just say like, I have 10 spots open available that are for 2 weeks. If you would like to talk to me about your website, have any questions, book these, and it's free, completely complimentary to current clients. And then there's your time to upsell the growth plans if interested, even if you just plant seeds for maybe later this year, or early next year for these growth plans. And that's it. That's that is enough to roll. I think you could double or triple your recurring revenue with that model.
And that's the goal. Like right now, if you take out, if you add in the SEO plan, I'm only $500 away from meeting my monthly recurring salary taken care of.
Oh, dude, that's nuts.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's fine. Like, and I don't pay myself a whole lot.
Yeah. But I mean, I want to see you, hit the next level and crash.
Right. Like I pay myself a certain amount, then there's bonuses, whatever. But so question then, coming off of all this stuff, I got so many notes.
Do you have the list though? The important thing is the list, because I actually want to add deadlines.
Crap.
You didn't think you're going to come here and not have come on, Mark.
Oh, thanks, coach.
The thing is like, I think you need to be reeled in a little bit though. Cause I know, we all get a little
ADHD is a superpower until it gets out of control.
But I mean, there's really not much more to do though. It's not like you're creating a brand new service. Really all you're doing with the growth plans is just putting a dang name in a package to what you're already doing. So even if it's a bullet list, even if it's a growth plans, 2 different levels. You got the starter growth plan, which is $4.99 or $5.99. Then you have the, the elite growth plan, whatever you want to call it, or the complete growth plan. That's $9.99. And then if you get a few of those and you're like, oh my gosh, I need to make a third tier, or this needs to be like $2,000 a month. And then you up it. You grandfather everybody in at $1,000. And then now new growth plan is $2,000, $3,000.
So do you think it's good to have inside of those growth plans, just this is it, this is what you get? Or is it better to have more of an a la carte style where it's like you can pick 2 out of the 3, or you can pick 2 out of the 4? Because I've been following April Ray's stuff so tight because I love what she does for her email, for her email marketing services, because she includes SEO blog posts and stuff like that. She just names it a little different. She presents it as email, but then supports it with growth. So I'm like, is that the way to do it, where it's more of, here's your different tiers, or more of you got to pick 4 out of the 5 options?
I think for right now, with the growth plans being fairly new and you're still working on those, I would almost just treat it as like a retainer just in this first phase. Okay. To where that's a great way to think about it. You got a basic retainer that's $4.99, for example, and then you've got an advanced retainer that's $9.99. Things we do in these retainers, because it's going to fluctuate between your different clients. I don't think you'll ever have one that's exactly the same, unless you want to productize it like April has done, or like Lisa has done with her stuff.
Yeah. I followed Lisa's stuff too, because she's productized beautifully.
Yeah. So that's how I would do that, is just say, like, in these growth plans, these are the types of things we'll do with this. And maybe some things you do for example, keyword research or amount of blog posts, then maybe that is just for the top tier growth plan. So you may separate a few things out, but I would start with the idea that these are the types of things we could do in your growth plans. And since it's month to month, maybe 1 month we do 3 blog posts. Maybe the next month we do a lead generator and a strategy call. That's the kind of, I would just keep it a la carte and more like, retainer style, just to start until you're like dead set on, okay, growth plan 1, this is what works well. Growth plan 2, email, lead building, sequences, stuff like that. Growth plan 3, maybe advanced SEO, a lot of content creation. Then you could productize it. But
when you say retainer, just make sure I'm clear. Do you mean by hours? Like you're paying for hour blocks?
Yeah, basically.
So with that $4.99, would that be, because in my mind, I'm like $4.99, that's like a 5-hour block.
That's like a 3-hour block to me.
3-hour block. Okay.
Right. Yeah. Keep bearing in mind that you're also adding a lot more value to that. And you're also going to be doing the security and maintenance or hosting and maintenance. That's complementary to that.
That's true. That's true. So it would be the maintenance and support on. Okay. I'm tracking now.
The other option with that is for a billing standpoint, because if you do wrap them together and then they want to opt out eventually with growth plans, which are going to come and go. That's why I recommend keeping those separate, just for everyone's reference. You keep support separated from growth plans, because when somebody wants to turn off their SEO and blogging, you don't want them to not do hosting and maintenance. So what I would say is, like, let's say you have $4.99 for your entry growth plan and somebody on your $99 plan wants to do that, you could give them a discount of $99 a month on the marketing plan, the growth plan. So they would basically, like, you would just, include, you would prorate or discount support off of that as a current client.
No, that makes sense. And I'm able to, and based on how they do billing, because like I use Stripe for my subscriptions to my invoicing software, Zoho. It's really easy if they are like, hey, we want to turn this off, like inside of Stripe, you just go, okay, and you just uncheck it off and then you're done. So it's easy.
Cool.
So that part's not a worry. It's more of, I look at this and go, okay, I like, this makes me feel better to sell it, because unless I would buy it myself, I don't want to sell it. I like the idea of knowing where it's going. And that's why I haven't pushed SEO hard, because I'm like, oh, you can pay me to do blog posts and this. And it's like, okay, so what? I'm like, well, I mean, I can tell you why, but are we really going to move the needle with blog posts? Local businesses, not necessarily. And so that's where I think I get tripped up. And so this at least points the compass north a little bit.
Yeah, but what does the blog post lead to? Higher conversions, lead generators, list building.
And I'm all about list building. Oh, heck yeah, man.
A blog post is like the starter of a growth plan. The real win is the SEO, which blog post does go to SEO.
Yep.
And some people may not need blogging for them. They may be interested in something else, which is why, again, I would start 2 different tiers of growth plans, a little more ad hoc. It'll be sloppy at first. It'll be a little messy, but I think over the next few months, you'll get a really good idea of how to package these up a little more. And again, I'm not worried for you, dude. I would tell you, like, oh, I would reel in, I wouldn't, launch this right away. You're so close to the recurring revenue thing. I just don't even think, I wouldn't even worry about get found locally yet. I would just do this, what we just covered with that little list. And again, the only new page you're going to build would be like a growth page, which you may tweak the SEO page or.
Oh yeah. It would just be a quick tweak, because the SEO page right now, it's not written. And I actually have a call with Michelle tomorrow to figure things out, because I'm like, I need help with my wording a little bit on the page. So I have a meeting with Michelle tomorrow, so we can talk about that too. But the search engine page is built to not be just SEO. It's all focused on, how do you get found online? How does your local business get online boost? That's the whole purpose.
I mean, you've already got you have a wonderful, beautiful graphic with your 7 steps.
Yeah, that's off one of my blog posts. Yep.
So do that, but then maybe make a version of that might have some other elements in there, maybe like lead generator, email building, list building. Again, everything you're doing already just needs to be packaged up. Yep. You just need to package, flop things on the homepage, add a little bit of new page. You just need to button some stuff up. So it's a mix of flopping and buttoning, and
it's just, charging for what I'm already doing.
That's it. Honestly. Yeah. In seriousness. Yeah. You're doing so much. You're not packaging it up. So there it is, man. I
got my notes.
I could see, I think you could probably, I know you're just back from vacation. I think you could probably get this on your site here within a couple of weeks, I would imagine.
Oh, a couple of weeks, absolutely.
So end of the week, whatever. Before this goes live, for sure, you'll have it up. So yeah, that's what I would do, man. I really think it's going to be more than enough to get you to your recurring revenue. So,
all right, cool.
There we go. Awesome, Mark. Well, this has been almost an hour and a half, dude.
Oh, wow. Well, thanks for all that, my friend. That was awesome.
Time flies by when you're doing website strategy.
Oh, and I know we can go for more hours, so we'll hang out more in the pro community group.
Deal. Yeah, I'll see you in pro. I do hope everyone enjoyed this. So this was a blast. And Mark, I appreciate you, man, for being really open and transparent. You have your Mark's Marketing Minute. Why don't you give us, the listeners of the show, since you're a listener of the podcast as well, give everyone else your Mark's Marketing Minute for the podcast here. Help out some other web designers, if you would. What's your marketing minute for other web designers who maybe want to get to this point? Because you're at an incredible point. You're closing in on 6 figures. What would your marketing minute be to word of wisdom for web designers who want to be the next Mark?
Keep people first is what it comes down to. Don't have solutions. All right. You put me on the spot. Have solutions ready to go. So when people have problems, you're ready to step in and solve those issues. That's what it comes down to, because people don't want websites. They want results. So if you can say, here's the result, it's packaged up, ready to go. I'm doing this to help you, and people trust you to help them. And then you have the testimonials to back it up. Bro, from there, it's piece of cake.
There it is. And that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing with this.
That's what we're doing. That's the whole game. That's been the marketing plan since day one, is just help people. And when you help people, they're your number one fans, and people just keep sending folks my way. So it's been great.
That's amazing, Mark. Well, I'll follow up with you on pro. I want to hear some dates on this. And then, man, I can't wait to see this live. And most importantly, I can't wait to see what this is going to do moving forward. I really feel like, last note, I feel like this is a win-win. Like there's nothing to lose with just, packaging all this up in a growth plan, tweaking your support services. Exciting times ahead, my friend.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Josh.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it, man. Awesome. It's the name of the game, my friends. Recurring income still to this day, by having a support plan, a maintenance plan for your web clients. It's the key. It's the foundation. I absolutely encourage you to help your clients get results through marketing and growth plans. But as we talked about, clients will ramp up and ramp down those marketing efforts and those growth plans. So support, offer your hosting and maintenance plans. If you need help with that, yes, I do have my full course on building, launching, and selling a website maintenance plan. You can get access to that course, just the course itself, or it is a part of your membership to my community, Web Designer Pro. Links to both of those will be in the show notes for this episode at joshhall.co/336. So head over there if you want to meet Mark, get a full transcription for this episode, and start building your recurring income, or taking your recurring income to a whole other level, which is my absolute favorite thing to do. So joshhall.co/336. I'll see you over there. And let me know how this episode helps build your recurring income.